What's going on? We're dealing with Sabian interstellar connection, or the question is, what secrets did the ancient Sabians know about the stars? Yeah. Let's get it. Let's go. You listen to King Cam and Ujumbe podcast, and Ujumbe means message. Yes, I am at another location, one of my favorite locations, Queen Cam's classroom. I've invaded her space. So she's at a meeting. So I'm gonna go ahead and give something to the fam. Like, let's go. I'm very excited again. We're about to go on our break, and I'm glad that you guys are here. Shout out to the new fam that's joining, that's enrolling, that's part of the email list, and all the wonderful things. Shout out to the fam in New York, Texas, Los Angeles, Germany, Morocco. Tell me where you from in the comments. Tell me where you from in the comments. But I'm very excited about this one. The Sabians is an ancient civilization located primarily in South Arabia or modern day Yemen. Okay. They are renowned for their achievements in astronomy, religion, and trade. They're flourishing from around the 8th century before Common Era to the 3rd century Common Era. They occupied a region rich in resources and served as a vital hub for trade, frankincense, myrrh, and luxury goods. But the reason why we entertaining this thing again is because the fam had a request. The Sabians and a secret knowledge of the stars were a significant group throughout early history. Please discuss them further. James Harvey, shout out to James Harvey, 8835. Yeah, if you guys ask a question or make a request in a comment, yeah, we may put you on. So we're gonna get to it. I'm very excited about this. We did talk about Sabians when we did with ancient Arabia and the trade and their trade routes. And I'm going to add that to the put that video somewhere in the description. But much love to the fam for doing that. Let's go. This is Yemen. This is right across the street, right across the way from Ethiopia, Eritrea, Sudan. Shout out to much love to the fam out there. I know there's a lot going on in Ethiopia and Sudan right now, but this is where they were. Okay, this is where Sabian were. Okay, and the early trade route, as we discussed before. Let's do a little review. The earliest interactions were primarily through trade, which flourished in the early first millennium BC. As you can see, the trade routes here, that was going through Axum, Nubia, all the way up to Egypt and back. And keep in mind that Yemen was basically Ethiopia's port towards the Indian Ocean on towards the eastern lands. Okay. And Ethiopia controlled some of the most important trade routes between the Roman Empire and India. So they held control of this. They had control of this area. Okay. Not only that, both Ethiopian and Arabian merchants sailed along the Red Sea, trading goods like spices, gold, religious knowledge, frankincense, myrrh, ivory, and of course, slaves. Okay. But now, Sabian culture, that the culture is part of the economics, right? Shout out to B Sheba. B Sheba, she put a comment in there when we had a discussion on ancient Sabia and Yemen. She said the Exumite Empire controlled parts of Yemen for centuries. I agree. The Sabian script is found in obelisk in northern Ethiopia, Tigray, in Exum, in the oldest church in Yeha, and in Eritrea. I did not know that there was obelisk in Eritrea. Y'all let me know. Let me know. Where are these obelisks in Eritrea? Okay, she said, which are both part of the ancient Exumite Empire. That is new to me, y'all. That is new. I did not know that I knew there were obelisks in, say, Kemet. I knew that there was some in Ethiopia, but I did not know that there was obelisks or tekenen in Eritrea. All right. Now, she also goes on to say there's also connections with cultural food in this entire region and also in Somalia. Injera is a flatbread made of teff. That is the staple food of Ethiopians and Eritreans. But she says, but if you look at Kanjiro in Somalia and Lahore, another flatbread in Yemen, you will notice the similarities in these three. I want to taste this bread. Okay. It makes it sound good. I want to try this. Okay. Hey, I want some Eritrean bread, Somalia bread. I want that. Okay. Let me know. All right. But she also goes on to say the Semitic languages and Sabian Arabic connections you mentioned are also significant indicators of the connections across those of these Red Sea states within the broader Middle East. Shout out to Sheba. She added value to the conversation. She said that there's obelisks in Eritrea and the bread is good. All right, let's go. Now, Sabian interactions, okay? They're located in Yemen, they founded the kingdom of Sheba, all right? They have strong Kushite roots, or at least were heavily influenced by the Kushite culture. There is a natural connection between the Sabians and the large Ethiopian cultural sphere, and contends that their advancements in trade, agriculture, and architecture were derived from the Kushite influence. Now, we can go further, but got to continue, right? The Sabian religion, because the religion is connected with the science, okay? Now, the Sabian culture is centered in the city of Amarib, a prosperous location due to its irrigation system, notably Marib Dam, which enable agriculture in an otherwise arid environment because it doesn't get a lot of rain out there. The people had to make adjustments, right? If you do not make adjustments, you will perish. Okay, we gotta make adjustments, y'all. We gotta do that. So the society was stratified. Okay. Now, the religion was deeply intertwined with Sabian astronomy. Okay. So they practiced a form of polytheism that often revered celestial deities. Okay. So they had their religion was connected to uh, the stars. Okay. I wonder what are other religions that are connected to stars? I wonder about that. I know that in Christianity, um, this time of year we have the story about the wise men, right? Where they follow the stars to find Christ. All right, let me know. Now, there's one guy that they had that they really revered. One of their deities was Alamuch, right? This is chief deity often associated with the moon, okay, and the weather, as well as other gods linked with planetary bodies. So their deities were connected or interconnected with the planets. Okay, they didn't whatever the planet was, they connected it with the deity. That's different because in Egypt they didn't do that. They really connected nature with the deity, Nitaru, but they didn't line the planets up with their deities. That's different, right? And get this though, Alamuch, he was also the high priest of Ra. That is interesting. Told you there was a connection between the Yemen people and Ethiopia, which is the grandmother of Egypt. Alamuch he was named as the high priest of Ra. That's different. Okay. It makes sense, but this new to me, right? Maybe new to y'all. Maybe maybe old news to you guys, but to me that's new, right? But yeah, Al he was symbolically linked to the moon, the phases of the moon, a significant cycle of agriculture and ritual observances. All right. So the Sabian's observations. Gotta get my face out the way. Of the stars were precise, systemized, enabling them to develop a calendar which is based on lunar cycles. Okay, lunar cycles. This knowledge is essential for timing religious festivals, agricultural seasons, and trade activities. Okay. Now, while their records do not survive in detail, this is the thing, we don't have a lot like in Egypt. The meta nature or hieroglyphics is everywhere and in everything. The Sabian culture, not so much, right? So the records do not survive in detail where evidence that likely track lunar phases, eclipses, and the movement of visual planets like Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn. Now one of the central elements of Sabian astronomy was tracking Venus. Venus was their planet. Okay, whereas in Kemet, it was the sun, it was Sirius. We're gonna get into that in a second, though. Stay tuned for that. But they really hung their hat on Venus. Okay. Venus regular patterns as the morning and evening made it prime object of study. So the Sabian people really vibed or connected with Venus. Okay. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. As many ancient cultures, the Sabians likely considered Venus visibility to have special significance. Okay. Now, the interstellar connection, the Sabians' interest in astronomy placed them in a wider network of star watching cultures. Okay. So they, even though we talk about these other civilizations, the Sabians need to be added with it, right? The trade routes through Sheba connected them with Egypt, Babylon, and even Greece and Rome, facilitating an exchange of astronomical knowledge. There was an exchange of knowledge there. So the Sabian civilization was part of this cultural exchange, was part of this um, network of information. Okay. Now, while the Sabians had unique interpretations of the stars, the overlapping beliefs with neighboring Mesopotamian, Egyptian, and Babylonian traditions suggest that there was some exchange and influence in their understanding of celestial bodies. So they knew something. Okay. They studied the stars. They were a star watching culture. As we mentioned before, they really leaned on Venus, right? And I asked my students a question. I ask my students from time to time, do you star watch? Do you look up in the sky and try to guess or figure out which constellations are present? A lot of them, they say, no. That's interesting. That's an interesting thing where you don't go out at night and look up in the sky. The Sabians and the people of Egypt and our ancient civilizations and our ancestors were star watching cultures. Okay. Now, here it is, the Sabian interstellar connection. The Sabians focus, as I mentioned before, on Venus, the morning star. All right. It's something about that. Okay. It's something about that. The Sabians' interest in astronomy placed them, um, I think, in a different echelon when it comes down to the Venus knowledge. What do you think? Okay. Now get this. The Sabians considered Venus visibility to have special significance and the marking times for certain agricultural activities. So they needed this. They needed to be guided. In the middle of the desert, they you don't know where to go, what to do, so they use the stars, right? Now, why am I mentioning this? Why am I mentioning the stars? Why am I mentioning Venus and so on? It's about that time of year where we have what you call the winter solstice. We're approaching the longest night of the year. Okay. I think between December 20th through the 23rd, but I think it's really December 21st. Y'all let me know. This is why ancient ancestors studied the stars. They want to know the times and the seasons. And then once they figured that out, they would line up the stones in such a way to where it will mark the rising and setting of different constellations. Okay. It go from a few pebbles here and there to elaborate monument and we talked about the grand viziers, how they lined those pyramids and those temples up that matched and lined up with the constellation of Leo or the constellation of Aries. Okay. So yeah, they wanted to know the times and the seasons. Okay. Check this out. Orion and Sirius. This is also the time of year when Orion and Sirius is seen in the night sky. If you are in the northern hemisphere, this is the time of year when you see that. Shout out to the family Ethiopia. Last September, they celebrated the Ethiopian New Year. Why is that? Why is that? It's because this Orion and Sirius it started to rise above the horizon. Okay, so Orion and Sirius is a big deal in ancient African customs or ancient African knowledge and culture. Okay, so my question is though, you guys can help me out. Is Sirius our second son? Now, the Dogon people have something to say about that, but I want to know: is Sirius our second son? Let me know in the comments. Okay. Um, I have my thoughts. As you can see, we have Orion right here. We have Sa'u right here representing Sirius or Sirius B, the blue sun. Okay. Um, it's some things about that where in the pyramid text, the people, the kings, and those who went on, the ancient ancestors or um the Shimsu Haru or the followers of Haru, the 40 to 43 kings before the pre-dynastic period, they went to the imperishable stars, according to the pyramid text. Okay, shout out to Yahya Sabaka. He tells us to look at the book of Coming Forth by Day, the Per Haru, and I would add on to that the pyramid text, because they talk about the journey to the imperishable stars. All right. All right. Now, Orion, Sirius, and the pyramids. Yeah, I had to go on and do it. There is some connection there. Okay. As you notice that the pyramids, if you line them up in a certain way, they do match Orion's belt. And also they do point us towards Orion and Sirius. And according to ancient custom, that is the journey of Haru going to Osar. Okay, when he crosses the river, he goes to his father. Okay, now of course later on, before that, I'm sorry, excuse me, before that, it was the king going to the stars. Then it was Haru to Osiris and so on. So they went from lining up stones to bigger stones to the pyramids. Okay. And I know Sabian, they have a temple also in Yemen. They have a temple. Let me get the name of it really quick. Trying to type it. The Temple of Awam. The Temple of Awam. That is dedicated uh to the principal deity Almaqah of Sheba. Right. So they did get down. So they lined theirs up with the stars. Okay, so check it out. Let me know. Let me know about if there's other monuments, if there's other places that line up with the stars. Okay, now so that's about it. What's next coming up? The Queens of the South or Ladies of the North and South. We are going to get into it next spring. We're gonna get involved with that. We're gonna talk about the queens, not just of Kemet, but also in Sudan. All right. We got to show love to both, right? We got to do that, right? Our next book is The First Female Pharaoh, Sebek Neferu, Goddess of the Seven Stars by Andrew Collins. The link is in the description. As an Amazon affiliate, I earn from qualifying purchases at no additional cost to you. But here's some more books, though. But before I get into that, what's next? We will answer some more questions. I got a few more for the month for the winter mix, and also we will have a Q&A. Okay, if you're on my email list, I'm going to send a Zoom link. If you're on my email list, I'm going to put the email sign up. We're going to do a Q&A off the cuff. Oh goodness. A Q&A with the fam, those who are on my email list. So I'm excited about that. And for more, check out Sister Danita Smith, Yaya Sabaka at AE Learning. Tell them that King Cam sent you. Now, here's some books. Let me see. Is that I can't get that. This is the Ancient South Arabia. I think that's I don't want to. Yeah, Ancient South Arabia. From the Queen of Sheba to the Advent of Islam, and Keba Nagast, the Queen of Sheba, and her only son Menelik. And remember, Queen of Sheba, that is Makeda. That's Queen Makeda. That's by E.A. Wallace Budge. And if you want to know about the knowledge of the pyramids and Orion's belt, The Message of the Sphinx is Good by Graham Hancock and Robert Bouval. The Black Genesis, when I talked about Naphtali, Black Genesis by Robert Bouval, that's a good one, okay? Where they line stones up to Taurus, okay? Because these constellations are really old and they've been around for a long time. So our ancient ancestors lined these monuments up and these stones up so in such a way to where they line up with this current constellation, which means they had to observe that for a couple of thousand years. All right, let's go. Of course, the Temple of Man, that's a good one. How we talked about the pyramid, not the pyramids, but I mean the Temple of Luxor or Waset, how it is made to be like a human person, a human body. Okay. And of course, we have Babylonian Star Lore by Gavin White. Okay. Just got through hearing what secrets did the ancient Sabians know about the stars. They leaned on Venus. All right. And so this is the King Cam and Ujumbe podcast, and I will talk to you later.